Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, welcome to 2025 and the WDW Fan Zone Show. I'm Stuart, and tonight I'm joined by John, Darlene, Jess, Lottie, and Kurt. Full house for the first show of the year. What a shock. And we're going to shock you with what we think the expectations will be for Walt Disney World this year. And we're going to get into it shortly, but first, Jess has the latest Walt Disney World news. The floor is all yours, Jess.
Hello, everybody. I got some big news coming up for today. Big Thunder Mountain is now closed for a major refurbishment and not expected to open until into 2026. Magic Kingdom has released a new park map to show this closure as well. Blizzard Beach will be closed tomorrow, January 7th, and Wednesday, January 8th for cold weather. Boo-hoo to our friends who are north who don't think that this is very cold. However, for us in Blizzard Beach, it would be very cold. The hotel resort perk of being able to go to a water park for free on your check-in day has also started on January 1st, but unfortunately, those of you checking in on Tuesday and Wednesday will not be able to use that perk. New good to go days for annual pass holders have been posted. These are days that annual pass holders can enter the parks without a reservation. Also, remember that annual pass holders can enter the parks after 2 p.m. without a reservation any day except Magic Kingdom on Saturdays and Sundays. Discover Disney Ticket for Florida residents allows people to pick 4 days between January 13th and May 23rd, and they do not have to be consecutive days. The ticket is $240, and there is also a 3-day ticket for $225. The tickets are valid for one park per day, but you can upgrade to include the park hopper. All right. Well, you can enjoy a free dining plan when you book a minimum 3-night, 3-day Disney World package. It must be discounted, unfortunately. Your package must include a room at one of the select Disney resorts and a theme park ticket with a park hopper. This deal is available for most nights from May 27th to June 26th, 2025. And July 7th through August 6th, 2025. So most of the summer, except really the 4th of July holiday. The number of packages allotted for this offer is limited, and everyone in your room must be using the same package. There were some great Disney hotel discounts announced for the summer, saving up to 40% off. These discounts are available for annual pass holders, a different set of discounts for Florida residents, and then there's also a deal for anyone not an annual pass holder or a Florida resident. Check it out. There are some really great deals this summer. Don't forget to check park hours before planning your trip and check again once you arrive to see if they change. They do, and they change often, especially in a holiday season. If you are going at any holiday, they like to extend park hours as well. The Walt Disney World area is expecting very cold temperatures this next week, so bundle up and stay warm. And I mean like highs in the 50s and lows in the 30s. And that is chilly for our area, and it feels colder here. Don't be alarmed, or don't be what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry. My brain is not working right now. It feels colder here than it would 50 up north. So because of the humidity. So do bundle up because that humidity makes it feel a lot colder. And if you're at Epcot, the breeze tends to pick up there too because of the lake. And that's the latest Disney news straight to you from Central Florida. Back to you, Stuart.
Thank you, Jess.
Yes.
Great news as always. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year and
Yeah,
see
Happy New
you
Year, you
real
too.
soon.
Take care.
Bye bye.
So, Jess was mentioning all these discounts Disney's coming up with. That was part of the reason I thought of the topic for this week's show. Because as we go into this year, there are people who are going, okay, are the parks going to be crowded? Are they going to be not so crowded? Or is it going to be the same as last year, worse? What should your expectations be? Um, do you go this year? Do you wait for Epic Universe and try to sneak out and do a couple of days of both Universal and Disney World. How do you think it's going to affect people? I can give my personal opinion is I think it won't. I think people who are going to come are going to come. I think the crowds will be similar to last year, but I can if there are people that have already experienced the attractions that have come in the last few years, like Guardians, they may not come back this year. But for those who haven't experienced it yet, they're going to come anyway. But we're going to go around the room and we're going to let everybody discuss what they think will happen this coming year and what they're looking forward to in terms of the expectations from Disney World. And we'll get into the closures and all that other stuff as well as we go around. And we're going to start with John.
Oh boy, I think for me this seems like a very tough year for visiting because there's so many things that are closing down, and it's going to be a long wait for a lot of new things. No, we'll talk about some of the new things that are coming, but it's nothing to me that is, an e-ticket ride, for example. So I think the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to, and I don't know if I'll get to experience it this year, is the new test track coming back. And that's something, we don't know what it's going to look like just yet. We know that it's supposed to have some ties back to the original World of Motion, but beyond that, it's not really clear. But it's not like we have a new Tron coming on, or a whole new section of Epcot opening up, Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening up, those kinds of things. So and you mentioned this with Epic Universe opening up early summer, maybe late spring.
I think it's late spring.
Late spring?
Or no, sorry, not late spring. I think it's
May 22nd.
Early to mid spring, yeah. Oh, I thought it was April they were opening.
Yeah.
Lottie already has a reservation ready to go.
Yeah. Kyle's already there waiting online.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's certainly going to be a lot of people still in Walt Disney World, but I think that's gonna make a difference and gonna have an impact. And well, you already hear Disney from Jess's report offering 40% off of hotel rooms. That's huge. So I think they're going to do everything they can with their levers to try to keep the attendance at the level they want. But I think there's a lot of things working against them coming into this year.
I agree with you, but for some reason I think it won't be any worse than it was last year attendance wise.
But
why I don't know. I don't have anything to base it on. I mean, everything is pointing to not going.
Yeah, well, also this past year there were some surprises.
Mm-hmm.
There, with decreases, not huge decreases, but decreases in attendance. So.
But they made more money. So what does that tell you?
Well, it depends on the quarter.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And was the parks making more money, or was Disney itself
making more money? The parks made more money.
Well, but there were some. I thought there was a quarter when there was a decrease in revenue as well. So they were, they were getting more money by charging more for things and having more offerings for a smaller attendance. But I thought that they also had a cut in revenue somewhere in the year.
They very well may have. What was I going to say? I forgot. Yeah, I think it will be a difficult year. I think if you're bringing little ones, with everything closing down in Magic Kingdom, even though it's not going to really affect the core attractions there in Magic Kingdom, get maneuvering from one part of the park to another, where it might not be difficult for a teenager and above, it might be difficult for parents who are going with toddlers.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that impacts the distribution of guests across the parks once they have those big walls up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what
Well-
we saw what happened in Epcot.
Mm-hmm. A lot of walking
I'm curious to
around.
see how they're going to handle the Rivers of America, considering that walking path that's outside of Frontierland, that's basically the giant bridge that walks over the top of the water. That's our path. That's how we get from Big Thunder Mountain over to
Yeah.
the Haunted Mansion every time.
Hmm.
So we don't walk down the main walkway in Frontierland because it's just incredibly crowded all the time. So I'm curious if they're going to take that all away and block that all off, because if they do, that's going to be horrible
Yeah, I know.
for congestion going through there.
Yeah, I can see them doing something similar to what they did in Epcot, and Darlene can attest to this. You can go to the park 3 times the same week and have 3 different paths, because one day there's a wall up in one section, then it's down the next and up someplace else.
Right. Oh, that was crazy.
That was crazy, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it was like that. It was just every time you would go, you'd have to find a different way to walk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't yet know when Rivers of America is going to close, correct?
No, we don't. Not
Correct.
exactly the
Haven't
exact date.
Yeah.
Disney knows. Maybe. Anyway, Darlene, what are your thoughts on the expectations for this year?
Oh, I'm just thrilled to, hopefully be able to get my husband on Tron now that there's a line, and Tiana's Bayou will hopefully be a better option of getting him to ride that one now that, it's a little over my husband.
Well, how do you think it'll be for guests that want to come this year? Do you think with
I
everything that's going
think it's
on,
going to be,
take everything into consideration, the discounts plus the closures?
they have to be very patient and plan. If they've got park tickets and they're staying on property, they got to definitely make use of the multi-line pass because they got to expect long waits, especially if our guest calculations are, like we're saying, going to be like they were last year, that it's going to be busy. There's going to be long lines all year long for standby.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm not so sure I would call the parks busy last year. 2 years ago, yes. Last year, I wouldn't call it that, but I think
You got to go more than I did. So
yeah, but I think the number of people that purchased lightning lanes, which was I don't remember the name of what it was just before.
Up to like
Lightning Lane.
50%, depending on the time of year.
Yeah, I think that will affect the lines greatly, just as they're doing now. But attendance wise, I don't know what we're going to see. I think it's a big question mark.
I think we might see a lull once Epic opens, and I think it isn't Epic opening in May.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
May 24th, I think.
Lottie gave us the date.
Yeah.
I don't know why
So,
I thought it was around Easter, but
well, they might do soft openings
yeah, they might.
during that time.
Or I could have been
But
wrong. I mean, that's possible too.
yeah, like I said, I really think that, we might see a lull when Epic opens, but I don't think it's going to be that much, because if you got a diehard Disney fan, they'll go like one day to Epic and then come back.
Or they'll go 3 days to Epic and 1 day to Disney. Lottie, I'd like to hear your take on this, because we know where someone in your family is going this year.
We know somebody's not going this year.
Yeah.
We looked into the tickets for Epic, and you can't, if you buy the park to park pass, you still only get 1 day at Epic.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
and you have to buy a park to park pass. You can't buy just, so far what we've seen, doesn't mean it'll change, but we were not able to buy a pass just for Epic Universe.
Interesting.
But that's for crowd control.
it is got to be for crowd control, and also the ticket prices were much higher than we were willing to pay for a
Mhm.
July visit this year. So we're
See,
not going.
it's not just Disney raising prices and charging a lot,
Yeah,
even
so
though we
we're
get on Disney for doing that.
Can you tell us what the price was for like a 3-day?
off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Okay.
But I know the price that we were quoted was a lot higher than we usually pay for the same amount of time at Disney. It was almost double.
Wow.
Oh,
Um,
gee.
so we opted to not go. We were planning on being in the area uh, mid-July, and my mom will be with us, and she really wanted to see Epic Universe, and she doesn't get down to Florida that often, and
Mhm.
looked into it, and it's just right now for us just cost prohibitive.
Wow.
What I am expecting from the parks is not to be too obtuse about it, but what I'm expecting is that there will be people there. We won't be
Mhm.
the only people. We won't be the only people in the parks.
Right.
We're gonna have to wait in line. I mean, that's not gonna change from one visit to the next.
Right.
Whether we're waiting 5 minutes for Spaceship Earth or 30 minutes for Spaceship Earth remains to be seen. I just don't know really how many people will change their vacation plans based on what we've seen from the increases in park tickets over up the road up I-4 at
Mhm.
Universal. I don't know. But as for the Ferguson 5, we're going to sit this year out and hope that the ticket prices are lower later.
Yeah.
By sitting this one out, you mean Epic Universe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Kurt.
I apparently I'm the minority because I have no interest in going to Epic Universe.
No.
But I've always been Disney over Universal. That's just me.
Yeah.
So-
What are your expectations for Disney World this year?
Well, expectations for Disney World, like Lottie said, it's going to be busy. It's and I think there's going to be more people that are saying, "Oh, look, this is closed, this is closed, this is closed." That's not the end of the world. Maybe this might be a good time to go because a lot of people are going to go to Epic Universe instead this summer. Especially when you can get 40% off, so the prices of the hotels are coming back to what they were pre-COVID. But if you think back, even pre-COVID, this was a normal thing. There were always, I mean, I became an annual pass holder with no one else in my family. So that, back in like 2006, I know I was an annual pass holder because I could get 30 or 40% off my resort. And that's why I did it. Of course, the prices of the annual pass weren't as much as they are now. They were only around $300. And you saved that on the back end with the resort you were going to be able to stay in.
Yeah.
Then we became DVC in 2007. So this is nothing new as far as, oh, look, they got hotel sales. I mean, we planned 2 trips. My wife and I planned 2 trips this year. One early on in the year and then one later in the year in the summertime. And we're still undecided if we want to try touring without the lightning lane, or as my wife says, a lot of times it's like, look, it works. We know it works. Maybe we should test this new one where you can get 3, where it's more like the old Fast Pass system. And we're the guinea pigs for when we have 6 people going down to the park. Now we know how to do this. Because with 6 people touring at the park at the same time, one of them never being there before, we wanted to come out of this with a good taste in our mouth afterwards. And that's what we're kind of looking at is what can we do or what can't we do? Where do we have to go early so that we're not getting stuck in a 3-hour line to get over into Tron Light Cycle or something. So,
yeah. What does Disney always do when the times are tough? Discounts. They raise prices, but then they give you discounts because guess what? A discount can be taken away when attendance comes back and everything else comes back. So they throw these discounts in to get the attendance pumped up so the crowds are never empty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Free dining.
yeah, free dining.
Yeah.
free dining, but they're getting on the back end.
Mhm.
So you gotta buy a
they
park
don't.
hopper pass.
Yeah, they don't lose out on that, but they get
No.
people interested by offering it.
Right.
Right.
Because people see free dining, they forget they're paying rack rates for the room. That's non-discounted rates.
Right.
for
It always works to bring
Yeah,
people in.
it does. It worked with me when when my kids were young. It was like, wow, free dining, let's do it. and then our agent at Mouse Fan Travel, Sarah, explained to me, like, put the brakes on, see which is better, the free dining or the discount for the room. And sometimes the discount for the room is actually better than the free dining.
I think 99% of the time it's better than the free
Yeah.
dining. If you're like us, we always would have a situation where we either had leftover snacks, we always have at least one or if not two leftover meals that were like, oh wait, we didn't eat this. We got it. What are we going to do here? And then on the last day we try to give it away, and people are like, no, sorry, we're also on the free dining plan. We can't give ours away.
Mhm.
So it's great, but you are paying for it. If you want to be on the dining plan,
Yep.
that's one way of doing it. But you might be able to actually go with the discounts and then just eat regularly without the dining plan.
What I would do if I were living outside of Florida and coming to Walt Disney World and had an offer where I could get a discounted room rate or the free dining, I would take a look at the prices. What's it going to be with the dining? What's it going to be with the room discount? And if I went with the room discount, and in all likelihood I would get Disney World gift cards that I could use at the restaurants
Right.
and pay for my meals that way. And then guess what? If I had money left over, well, here's a nice souvenir that I could bring home.
Yeah, you don't.
Here's
miss out.
another thing. Here's another thing to think about. If everyone has free dining, all those table service restaurants are full.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's very
Everyone
true.
wants to do the free dining.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
with that being said, honestly, I don't do a lot of table service anyways, but you're not going to find it. So you're going to have to go somewhere that you're going to end up at the plaza. Or you're going to end up somewhere else because you're not going to get into Cinderella, or Cinderella's going to take up 2 dinings.
Mhm.
Les Cellier, it's 2 dining credits.
Mhm.
So any of those things. So now if
Yeah.
you're fine with doing that, that's fine. But just realize it's going to be difficult to find dining when they have free dining package out there.
And I'm going to throw this out to everybody. For any of you who know somebody or would give advice to somebody who, you know what, we haven't made our plans yet, but we are planning on making a trip down to Walt Disney World this year. We have kids in school, so we have to go July, well, not part of August and July, maybe even June. What should we do first? They've got all these discounts that are coming out. What should we do first? Besides go to a travel planner who's experienced in Walt Disney World, who knows what they're doing, who can advise them. What's the one bit of advice you would give that person before they do anything else?
Look at the website.
Stay on Disney property.
And look at the available properties on Disney property, the available resorts, see what the rates are. I just did a quick look in the middle of July, and the prices are good. So see what the availability is, see how it lines up with your own schedule, and see if it makes sense for you, for the cost for your family to be able to go. Because if you don't have that resort to start with, it makes your entire trip a real mess.
Well, I'm going to say something to all of you. You're all right to an extent, but here's the right answer. With all the discounts they're offering, go through every single plan, do a discount comparison from each plan and what the room rates are, with the discounts, with the dining without the discounts, what time of the year they're offering discounts, which works better for you, which fits into your budget better, and then you can make a decision.
If
And
you have a good travel agent like MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, they will help you with that information.
Yes, they will.
That was good. It sounds
But
like
you have. Oh, sorry, Lottie, go ahead.
it sounds like you need a spreadsheet. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is cool. You probably do, but I wouldn't go to Mouse Fan Travel or any travel planner until I had an idea of what was being offered, and I would narrow it down to what interests me the most, whether it be the time of year to go, the discount that I want to take advantage of, or the promotion. Then I would go to Mouse Fan Travel and say, okay, this is what I was thinking. Is there anything else that you can think of that I haven't? And
You
see
can
if
stay
they
on
come up
site
with
for
it.
$89 a night
Yeah, that's
if you have a
incredible.
tent or a trailer.
Yeah. Um,
But it's
There is-
$89 a night.
Even the
So-
valley resorts aren't that bad.
$189 right now or
yeah.
in July it's $189 to stay at Pop Century.
Mhm.
$144 for the All-Star. Or one of the All-Stars.
There is one new thing. I don't know. I don't remember if Jess mentioned that or not. But one of the benefits, according to the Disney Parks blog, is that they've mentioned there's all kinds of magic included with your Disney Resort hotel stay, including admission to a water park
Mhm.
on
Yes,
your
that's the
arrival
first day.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is. Yeah.
But
that
she
is
mentioned
that's
that
like
because she said,
amazing.
yeah, but no one wants to go swimming this weekend.
Well, not
'Cause
this
it's too cold.
weekend, but when they
But-
come during the
All right.
warmer times, that's
Yeah,
really
so, yeah,
that's like I would have loved to have done something like that first day.
It's a great perk, but if you're going for a certain number of days, you have to have enough time allocated to the park to say, okay, you know what, let's go to the water park.
No, it's only the first day you arrive.
you're only allowed to do it on the first day.
okay.
So if you think of how many people are arriving on Saturday on top of the regular parks that are there, do you
That's
really,
true.
really
How many
want to go to
planes
the
are
water park
delayed
on
these
Saturday?
days?
Right?
Well, the plane's delayed, so let's not go to a park. Instead, let's go to the water park.
Yeah.
Because you can
Yeah.
spend a couple hours in the water park instead of all that full price that you just missed out on with your ticket.
Yep. Or hanging out at the resort doing not much.
Right.
Swimming. Well,
Let's just-
yeah, if you well, a lot of kids I did see. I've stayed when it's cold and there were people in those pools.
Oh yeah, the pools are all heated. It's when you get
Mhm.
out of the pool. That's the
Right.
problem.
Kids
So
don't
I mean,
care.
we've been there in November where the air temperature is 66 degrees and the pool temperature is 80. So it's not bad, but
You know
it's
what?
cold when you get out.
I'm down here almost 5 years now, down here in Florida. The first 4 years that I was here, heat bothered me, but the cold didn't bother me at all. I had to go up north for a wedding recently, and it was 40 degrees, cold, rainy, damp. And I was like, God, I haven't felt like this since I was in Alaska. And since coming back, it's like, I would go 55 degrees, wear shorts and a t-shirt. I didn't care. Well, I've kind of gotten used to the Florida weather, and shorts and a t-shirt now in 55-degree weather don't work. The t-shirt does. The shorts don't. I'm sorry. I got to reverse. The shorts don't work. The t-shirt does.
Yeah, well, it was 19 here.
Wait,
today.
no, I got that wrong.
Yeah,
again.
we're 19 all day today.
I got it wrong again.
It's still
The
22.
shorts work, but I have to wear long sleeves.
Well,
That's
your
what-
legs are dead. There's nothing in them anyways anymore. So with the dead legs, you got no feeling anyways.
Your blood thins when you stay that when you're down
Yeah,
there too long.
Well,
My
ran
husband's
I
my
just- all I
husband's
was
the
gonna
same
say-
way.
yeah, I ran when I was in high school, and when you were a runner, you'd would wear shorts all the time anyways,
Mhm.
because you just less restriction for running faster. But you always had to keep the core warm. So same thing now. I'll run out and start the car in 90-degree weather with shorts on, but I better have a jacket on.
No.
Yeah, it's like I love wearing sandals.
Me?
That's pretty much all I wear down here, except when I go to the parks. And I've had to put sneakers on for the last week, not every day, but on and off, depending on what the temperature is. It's like a year ago, it would have been like, screw the sneakers. I'll just wear my sandals.
I'm in the house with a blanket.
Oh God, you're making me sweat.
That's why I still have this on. Again, it's 22 here. So
Mm.
I get it. My teeth were
Anyway.
chattering last night.
Yeah. Anyway, I think what you're going to see at Disney World this year, you're going to see a lot of VIP tours, because when you're on a VIP tour, you know what? You're missing the lines because you're paying that extra premium to avoid the lines. You know, I think it's the regular paying customers that had come down this summer are going to have to deal with, do I get a lightning lane or do I just brave the lines? And I think you're not going to walk down Main Street and be the only one on Main Street. It's not going to happen. You might have a couple of days where the parks might be packed. You might pick a couple of days, depending on when you're coming, where it'll be okay. Everything's passable. You can walk without a problem.
Don't forget, Disney's, I think it's Disney Starlight Parade is going to be coming this summer
Yes.
to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
Kingdom, that's going to be a
They're still
big
working on that parade.
attraction.
Yeah,
What
there's
do they
got-
consider summertime? When does summertime start? Because
June
when they say
21st till
June
September
21st?
21st.
Yeah,
Okay.
but down
So
here,
when they're
more or
saying
less.
when they're saying late summer, are they talking August? Are they talking
July,
mid-July?
August.
Now, I don't know what this parade is going to entail. Nobody does except the people working on it, but I can tell you it's going to be one of those parades where I think most people are going to have their socks knocked off. I think they're working on some special stuff for that parade. What they
That's
are, I
great.
don't know.
That's
So don't
great.
wear socks for the Magic Kingdom is what you're saying.
You don't need to in July.
Wear
Yeah.
sandals.
Right?
Well, unless you want to burn your feet.
No, you don't want to wear
Sandals aren't very comfortable when you're in Magic Kingdom walking all
Not
day.
at all.
it. No.
I can't do it.
I've seen people in Crocs at Disney World, and it's just like, I'm sure they're comfortable for the first hour. How about after that?
Hope you get a good pair of sandals.
Yeah. They do. But don't wear high heels. I've
My
seen
my oofs. My
No.
oofs, maybe.
Oofos.
UFOs.
UFO.
Ufos.
Yes, I've worn those in the park. Those are great.
I'll have to try them one of these days.
Hoka's another
They don't give
brand.
me enough back support. Any
Just
better back support?
not Old Navy flip flops.
Right. No, absolutely not.
Songs.
Dollar store flip-flops.
Oh,
You can get your ponchos at a dollar store. Don't get your flip-flops from a dollar store.
Yeah, don't. No.
Just don't do it.
I got a blister just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Well, don't they advertise they come with free blisters?
Oh,
In 8,000
You're
miles of running, I've never gotten a blister, but if I put one of those things on it, I'd only have to walk down Main Street and I'd have it.
yep.
I did the gingerbread 5K and I got a blister and the sneakers went in the garbage. I'm like, nope.
Were your feet wet?
No, it was
No?
dry that night. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I wore them. I mean, I've had them for like 7 months, 8 months, and yep, nope.
Hmm.
And I've worn them to the parks multiple times. Nope.
I've worn new sneakers to the parks on numerous occasions. Never had a problem. But I know people who have worn new sneakers first day, they're having problems. If not the first day, the second day. I've just been lucky, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind you're buying. You want to buy a
and the
quality pair
quality
of
and type,
shoes.
yeah.
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 If you want a discount, find an outlet store. They're all over the place.
They are.
Sometimes you can walk into a Nike outlet store on the back wall. It's like 30% off of a shoe. That I literally have bought $140 shoes for $40 before.
Mhm.
You know, luck of the grab sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we've been talking about certain expectations, but we haven't really talked about what's coming this year and the closures. Let's do the what's coming this year first. We'll save the closures last, because I think that's going to have some impact on some people, but I don't think it's going to be as much of an impact on many people.
Yeah, it's not a full picture yet either.
No, it's not. It's not. And Disney's been very clever about that for obvious reasons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, they have their levers to pull, and closure dates is one of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it makes me wonder if they finally woke up and said, "Hey, we got behind the 8 ball with what Universal's doing. people expect new things here, and we haven't really given them enough. Now, I'm not comparing. I'm by no means am I comparing Disney to Universal. As far as I'm concerned, there is no comparison. It's Disney all the time, every time. But I think we've had the expectation that things will change and that new things will come, and they have. But I think some people are taking what has come in the last few years for granted, and it's never enough. Like Tron and Guardians, those are pretty big new ticket items that came into the parks, and people going like, "Well, what have you done for me lately?"
Well, Guardians,
So,
right ever.
yeah, and there are a lot of people who have not had the opportunity to ride them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to be affected by some of the closures. They're going to come anyway because now's the time for them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But with the parade coming, darling, you mentioned that parade. I think that parade is going to be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, and the walls went up in Pirates of the Caribbean when I was there on the
The
30th
store.
or the 29th. Yeah, the store.
Yeah, the store's been closed for quite some time.
Well, they have part of it open, half of it's open and half of it's closed.
The
They
store?
pushed, yeah, they pushed everything
They
onto
must
one
have
side.
reopened part of the store then, because I was there
They
in the
did.
beginning of December and everything was closed. I mean, you could walk through, but there
Yeah,
were walls up. Nothing was open. There was no merchandise being sold there.
Yep, they got merchandise back
All right.
and put the
Oh, come on, you
walls
gotta have
up and
merchandise.
stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, for pirates, of course, people would
You
go.
gotta have merchandise.
Yeah,
No,
people
you-
would go
yeah,
crazy.
There wasn't much
Just
there
right.
for a while.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't they putting in a pirate themed restaurant?
Lounge.
Wow.
Lounge,
That's it. Lounge. Yeah.
Yeah, the concept art looks really cool.
which is
Bar.
probably why it's closed in
Mhm.
certain
Yep.
areas.
Yep. Yeah. Now we lost Thunder Mountain for
Yep.
God knows how long.
A year.
But we weren't going to talk about the closure. We're going to talk about what's coming.
Yes.
Well, we mentioned the parade.
There's
And
going to be a
the
new
Pirates
Disneyfication
Tavern.
Club lounge.
Yep.
New Disneyfication Club lounge in the Magic Kingdom.
Correct. By the old shooting gallery.
Yeah, well, at the old shooting gallery.
Yeah.
It's
The
gone.
gallery's gone. Epcot. I think everything new to Epcot except for Test Track
Test track, right?
is there, and we'll see that this year at some point. And to what John said before, we know they're going to pay homage to
World of Motion.
World of Motion, but we don't know how. I've heard they're also going to bring the environment into it somehow, but
Mhm.
we don't know how. So it'll be an interesting thing to see, I guess.
Isn't this Spaceship Earth Lounge supposed to be opening too
Yeah.
this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's going to be open to everyone,
Late
correct?
spring?
I
Late
believe that's
spring,
open
it
to everyone.
said.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these lounges are going to make or break someone's decision whether they want to come to Walt
No.
Disney World. I think the parade could have a little bit of an influence, but not a lot. Even though it's a big deal to us because it's just like I know like I said, I don't know what they're planning, but I know they're planning something big
Mhm.
this parade. Not that I'm trying to get everybody's hopes up, but get your hopes up because it's going to be awesome from what the rumors, I shouldn't say rumors, the information that's not going on out there that's being circulated without saying anything. Yeah.
Hollywood
I-
Studios?
Yeah, I know how it's a wait and see with monsters. They're not coming this year.
Well, the villain show is coming.
Yeah, the village. There's a stage show coming.
Yeah, this temporary show.
Yeah.
I
And-
think Hollywood Studios, even with Monsters Inc. line coming, still needs something else. And I just don't know where they can put it. They're running out of space there.
Well, and
Well, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say we did discuss how Dinosaur is going to stay open through 2025 now.
Yeah.
Yep.
They can maintain some upper tier attractions until they
Hmm.
get other things ready.
Exactly. And Zootopia is coming to Animal Kingdom at the end of the year.
Right.
So, oh, and what about the Little Mermaid musical adventure this
That's
summer?
summer.
That's coming this summer.
That's summertime.
Yeah, yeah. So that's coming too
Yeah.
for Hollywood.
Yeah. So there will be some, for somebody who's been here the last year or two, there will be some new things to explore and see and experience. So I wouldn't decide, I would not be the person to say I'm not going this year because there's nothing new and everything's closing. I wouldn't let it affect my decision.
No. If you're a fan that tries to get there every year, every 2 years, I think there's still enough reasons for you to come. I think it's more the the peripheral guests and the ones that come every 5 years, every 10 years. Is this going to be one of the years they come? And there's just not as much exciting things, I think, to draw them in this year,
Yeah,
other
you know,
than if the discounts appeal to them.
if I'm a guest that's on that every 5-year timetable, and this is year 5, I'm not going to not go. I think I would get excited for what's there, because if I haven't been there for 5 years, there are going to be a lot of things that I haven't experienced yet. And then 5 years from now, there'll be even more.
Well, I understand that, but I think that they're also going to look at, well, do I think next year is going to have more to draw my attention?
And it
And
will.
yeah.
It definitely will. But,
Yeah.
I think it's going to affect the people who are looking at their pocketbook or wallet. I think it's going to affect them the most. And they're going to be the ones that say, well, if I'm going to spend this money, I can only do it once. Do I want to go this year or do I wait a year? And if I wait a year, maybe the crowd levels at Epic will be down, so I can do both. I
If you
think
can afford
those are the
that.
guests that might wait a year or so.
Well,
I
start
wouldn't.
thinking about it though. What exactly is going to be missing? So you're going to miss
Yeah.
the Rivers of America and Big Thunder Mountain and Tom Sawyer Island.
Where
You're
nobody
going to
goes
raise the
to anyway.
hands of everybody raising their hand. Okay, I'm missing Big Thunder Mountain. So there's really one attraction we're missing in that park.
Mhm.
Animal Kingdom, they're shutting down Chester and Hester's and
Yay!
Triceratops
I'm
Spin.
happy. I hated that place.
I loved Chester and Hester's because it was so
Kitschy.
cliche. I don't know.
You know what I didn't like about
That's the word I was
Chester
looking
Hester? It
for.
reminded me of a typical amusement park you would find
Mhm.
anywhere.
That's what it was supposed to be, a
Absolutely.
roadside park. That's what it was. But you're losing Triceratops Spin. Sorry, Lottie. I know that was your favorite one.
Yeah.
So, see,
I know,
there you
me
go.
neither.
So, we're now, okay, we're still only missing Big Thunder Mountain that we're upset about.
Well, they
What are you
lose the
losing?
boneyard.
Well, the river boat and Tom Sawyer Island, which is they're not the heavily visited attractions,
No,
but
they're not.
we don't know when yet, but they're going to be going away sometime too.
But that's my
Mhm.
point. Yeah, I mentioned them. But half the time when I'm there, they're not open or they're not running.
You know what?
Oh, the riverboat's
So-
been running.
Now,
Yeah,
but
it's been on.
lately in the
But it's running on
summertime,
empty because nobody's on it.
yeah,
Nobody's
that's
on
my
it.
point.
Mm.
So that's
even
my
here-
point. And every time we'd walk by, they're like, we're not open yet. So I don't know if there was something wrong with the boat or if the captain, who knows what happened with the captain.
I don't
But-
think they
Yeah.
opened up till like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what's going to
Again.
start happening? You're going to get the people that join that Maelstrom Must Be Saved group to save all these other attractions. Meanwhile, they're always empty.
Right.
It's
Well, but I do think the walls are going to be, they're going to be a drawback.
they're going to be an
Yeah.
inconvenience.
I kind of disagree. I don't remember much with when the walls were up for the new Fantasyland. It wasn't that bad because you had so much other space to be. The problem with it in Epcot was it was in the middle of everything, and you couldn't
Yeah.
go anywhere without.
It was
the
right in
wall.
the entrance.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is going to be just
Epcot
walling
was
off
worse.
that corner.
Epcot was a moving wall. It's like one day it was,
Yeah.
like I said before, it was
This
in
is
one
going to
place
be
one day.
like the
and the next.
expansion of Tomorrowland is what it's going to be, which really, or I'm sorry, that's from Fantasyland. it really wasn't that bad. It was actually kind of exciting to see stuff start to go up over the top of the wall, but it
And-
wasn't impending. Like I couldn't walk through there.
Well, but
And to Kurt's
you yourself
point,
said, are they going to take away your walkway down there
Well,
along the river?
That's the only thing.
Mhm.
And if that happens, then yeah, it's going to be a little bit more crowded in that area.
and I think
But
there will be times
that's
where
it.
that will happen, but it won't be permanent.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we saw that in Epcot. And to Kurt's point, I think Animal Kingdom will be very similar. I think what's going to happen there, there'll be days where it'll be an inconvenience. There'll be days where it's just like, oh yeah, the wall's up. It won't affect anybody
Right.
walking from one place to another.
Right.
I can't
And
see them
honest-
really putting walls up around the Tree of Life at all because it's all going to be interior.
Right.
No, they don't have to do anything
Close it
there.
up.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
they can
change the remote
easily
and the animatronics.
right. They can easily put that wall up around the backside
Mhm.
of that walkway that I'm talking about,
Mhm.
and just drain the lake. And they can put
Yeah.
those walls up as high as they want, and it won't matter. So you still have the walkway area. It's a
Mhm.
dry dock area then.
Well, I
So,
anticipate that lake will
depends on
be
what they wanna
drained.
do.
I just don't know when.
Right. They have a way to do it. They're going to keep the flow going as best as they can.
Yeah. Yep. Trust me, they've got the best engineers they could hire.
Yeah,
Figuring
I
this
didn't
all out.
say that it's going to stop people from going to Magic Kingdom. I said it's going to be a drawback, and it is.
Mhm.
It's going to be, it's going to take away a lot of nice looking sight lines that are there today,
Those are
Mhm.
going to be gone.
and you're going to make it harder to get. I mean, there's some pictures you just won't be able to get.
Oh,
Yeah.
Of a
that
whole
picture of
side of the park
Haunted
there,
Mansion
from
from
Big
the
Thunder
side
Mountain all the
there.
way up to Haunted Mansion. So
Yep.
it's I didn't say it's going to stop people from a lot of people from going, but it is going to be a drawback because it's a big change.
You know what the
Yeah.
biggest drawback's going to be? Social media. People are going to post stuff on social media. I had a terrible time. And meanwhile, they're in Arkansas. They're not even in the parks.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's like if you have a good travel planner for Disney, if you have friends that are big Disney fans, if you go to the right websites, none of it's going to, yeah, it'll be an inconvenience on certain days and not others, depending on when you go. But I would not stop myself from going on vacation to Walt Disney World because of a couple of things closing down.
You know what? I'm
Yes, these are
curious.
major areas, but think about it.
I-
Like Kurt said, the river. Who goes?
People aren't
nobody
going on
goes
it.
on Star Island anymore. Nobody.
And I'm honestly, I'm curious if they're going to keep them up. It's open as long as they can and close the whole backside of that and just have one tunnel coming out of it for the attraction. And they could just tear down the rest of that area and start building and keep open that attraction as long as they can until
Get
more
the
attractions
coffee.
are opening.
The new coffee stand. Yeah.
Oh, that they have to get open, right, Darlene? That's a must.
Gotta have the
That's gotta
coffee
come
stand.
before
It's the
attraction.
Joffreys. Yeah.
Did they offer like rubbing that or something like that? She's really worried about that.
Well, they have that. They probably opened that there because they knew that they were going to close the rest of it. So now they at least are offering something up there.
Is it mobile? we know?
No, it's a stand. It's
Is
an
it mobile
actual
order or is it a mobile?
No,
as
I
in
mean, I meant
move?
mobile. I meant, could you
Okay.
like, even though it looks like it's on the ground,
No,
they
no,
hit-
no, no, no. This
No,
is an
it's
actual
a permanent structure,
it is a permanent structure there.
like
Yeah.
one of those big booths at the. Well, it's even more permanent than one of the booths at the Epcot festival.
Yeah.
I was gonna say those are mobile. A lot of them. You can just
Yeah.
pick them up. There's a special way you do it with the wheels where you pop, 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 and it just rolls. Or you pick it up with a forklift, one or the other.
No,
Yeah, no, this one's a permanent structure.
Yeah, it's
I just want. I can't. Off the top of my head, it's been 6 months since I was there. So off the top of my head, I'm just not picturing it because I usually don't go to Joffrey's for a coffee in the middle of the day. That's just me.
some of us.
It's, I agree with Kurt. It's like, I don't go to Disney to get coffee, whether it's Joffrey's or Starbucks. I'm there. If I'm going there on vacation,
I do.
there to go on the attractions. I'm living
When
here.
it's-
I'm
yeah.
there to just experience what's going on in the park that day, not coffee.
Coffee,
When it's 95, I don't want a hot coffee at 95 degrees.
Iced.
coffee.
Oh,
yes,
okay. There you go.
yes. And it enhances the experience. I could use one right now.
You could.
I'm sure you could use something else right now that's not coffee.
Oh, I don't need to be more sleepy.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Anyway, is there anything else you guys want to bring up about this year? What to look forward to? And
John has a little bit more on his list.
Oh,
Always.
well, so one of the big things we haven't talked about, and I think is a big unknown, is what's going to happen with the Walt Disney World Railroad.
Oh yeah.
That's my fear.
You know what? They haven't said anything, but it has to shut down.
It
at some
has
point.
to somewhere.
It has to at some point.
It's a question of how long.
Yeah, I know.
It was closed for how long?
Yeah.
Was it
Now,
4 years? for
Tron. Yeah.
when they redid, actually when they were building Splash Mountain at the time, what they did was they just ran a half a loop. So they could do that because they could easily keep it open because the roundhouse is behind Fantasyland. So they could run a half a loop and just go forward and back and forward and back with one train.
I hope they do that.
They chose not to do that during Tron, but maybe they would do that because of pushback or the need for something.
Yeah.
Where they were doing the construction was too close to the Tron area. So the train needed to pull forward in order to be able to back up because it backs into the roundhouse area. And I think because of the construction of Tron, they couldn't
Get the back up.
in other words, it's got to run clockwise. So otherwise the train would have been running, I guess it would run forward and back either way.
Yeah.
But they couldn't, for whatever reason. I remember reading an article that they couldn't because of the location of the Tron.
It was too close to the Fantasyland station.
Train station.
Mhm.
Yeah. Something to do with that. I could be completely off, but I remember.
Yeah.
Then again, half the news we read about Disney isn't real anyways, depending on
Yeah.
where you're getting it from. So
Yeah, they've been careful not to say anything about it so far,
right.
Yeah.
which worries me.
Well, everybody knows it has to close at some point, but I hope Kurt's right. That's all I can say.
It would be nice if they did.
And so Grand Fiesta Tour just closed today too for 2 months.
Oh,
Yes, they
I
did.
did not know that.
Yeah.
I did read
Not-
about that. I've
I'm
read
not-
about all this stuff John's reading, but I can't find where I read it.
I didn't hear what or why it wasn't clear what the refurbishment is or what they're doing to the attraction.
Well, I know the 3 Caballeros were up and running. Nobody was taking a nap.
Okay.
Donald wasn't drunk
I
this
could say
year.
something, but as a joke, but 50% of the audience wouldn't get it, and 50% of the audience wouldn't get it. So I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, one day poor Jose was taking a nap.
Donald.
Donald,
Oh,
usually
right.
it's Donald.
Yeah.
Out like a night.
Donald cracks me up.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we're pushing the envelope this week on the time for the show, so we're going to get out of here. And, unless John, is there anything important that you want to mention? That we
There's another closing coming up that I don't want to discuss, so I'm going to skip it.
I found an Astro Orbiter.
You can use your imagination.
I
What?
can't wait I can't wait.
Tell
to
us, John.
No, I'll tell you after we're done. It's not worth my time discussing it.
Okay.
It's probably the Sci-Fi Theater, Sci-Fi Dining Theater, whatever you call it. Anyway,
I wouldn't be coming
we
down.
hope we've given everyone out there something to think about or not worry about. If you're coming to Walt Disney World this year, you're gonna have a great time. Just come. Don't worry about the crowds. Yell at the people who are on the VIP tours. Tell them you're more important than they are. That'll make them feel good, and go on with your life. And that's that. Anyway, on that note, we're out of here. Everybody, Be safe. Be yourself. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
See you real soon.
Have a magical night. Stay safe. Pack some warm clothes because you'll be layering for a while.
I almost changed my mind and broke into Three Caballeros, but since we're talking
I went
about
to Three
things,
Blind Mice instead.
that's but since we're talking about the changes here, and one of my favorite attractions that's going to be going away, not quite sure when yet, but excited for what's coming. I've got to go with the best thing about us. You can't live without us, and it's tough to be a bug. Well, we hope that you can't live without us too, and that you come back and see us again next week, no matter what you thought of my closing. So hope to see you then. Bye now.
I usually don't say anything at this point of the show, but I have to this time. When they close, it's tough to be a bug. I am going to be there with bug spray to help them close and exterminate those bugs.
My niece would be too, let me tell you.
Oh, it's a great show. I'm with John.
And you know what? I like the show, but
He
I've been on it
exited.
enough time. It's time for something new. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.